Hello, loves. Welcome back to WitchyMarlaina's Ghost Adventures. I'm your host, WitchyMarlaina, and today we're coming closer to the end every week. 50 states and 500 scariest places to visit, and this week we are traveling to Utah, specifically Cottonwood Heights, Utah, and this place. This little guy. This is the Cottonwood Paper Mill in Cottonwood Heights, Utah. Looks pretty neat, huh? It's not as bright and shiny as the other buildings we have talked about, but it does have some very ghostly history. So let's get started. The Cottonwood Paper Mill was originally called the Granite Paper Mill and was constructed in 1881. It finished construction in 1883 and cost around $150,000 to build, which in today's money is $3.5 million. So there you go on that regard. It was built with remnants of the Salt Lake City Mormon Temple, and it was commissioned by the LDS Church to be the paper for their church, for their publications, for their records, because they are constantly using paper and they did not want to rely on the East Coast for their needs. They wanted something right there next to them. And at its height, it was producing 5 tons of paper within 24 hours. So it was turning paper left and right. Tragedy struck in 1893, actually, specifically, April 1st, 1893. So April Fools, right? Fire broke out and there was alarms and people were talking about it, but nobody really paid attention to it because they thought it was a practical joke. A lot of people perished in this fire because they didn't take it serious, and the building was almost demolished. It almost, yeah. It stood abandoned for about 34 years, and in 1927 it reopened as the Old Mill Club. So it was an open air dance hall. It was very popular in the 1940s, and then again very popular as a discotheque in the 1970s. And then in the 80s, the building was transformed into a craft boutique, but that was very short-lived, and it stood abandoned again for another 20 years until it became condemned in 2005. Now, during the 70s and the 80s, they held haunted houses in the paper mill, and that's where a lot of the activity started to be noticed. Yeah. When you start kind of egging it on, it happens, right? Right now, it is illegal to trespass, of course, onto this building, but if you are an invited guest, people have claimed to see disembodied spirits. When they go into a room, the door will automatically close behind them and lock. Some unlucky, very unlucky visitors would have to crawl through a window to get out of the room, and it's not like a normal lock door where you can kind of wiggle it and kind of get it open. This door wasn't budging. And when they crawled out the window to check to see what was happening, a large object was stuck to the door. They were the only ones in the building, and there was no audio of anything being moved or shuffling, nothing. So magically, this large object blocked this door, trying to trap these visitors in that room. Now, when visitors leave the paper mill, when they look back, some have claimed to see lights turn on, especially blue lights turn on in the paper mill, and the paper mill does not have any electricity to it at all. I know, it's insane to even think that lights can flicker that are not even, there's no energy to it. Paranormal investigators have had their electronics glitch, and also batteries on their cameras drain immediately. This place sucks energy like no tomorrow. True that. The main part that is the hub of the hauntings is the third floor in the center of the paper mill, and that is where the fire pretty much started. And a lot of people lost their lives in this area, including a caretaker and this dog. So in this area, they see black shadowy figures, temperature changes, and they also have that overwhelming fear and dread and unease when they're in this area. So that's what people feel when they walk into it. They also hear a dog either growling or barking. The caretaker had a dog that guard, of course, the paper mill, and I think this dog is still guarding it in the afterlife. Unfortunately, he might be still looking for the caretaker, because when they were gathering the remains for the families, they did not find the caretaker's body. So there you have it. Cottonwood Paper Mill in Cottonwood Heights, Utah. This beautiful place. It's in the base of the Big Cottonwood Canyon. Where it is just beautiful. But unfortunately, tragedy had to strike, and this is what's left. Thank you so much for joining me on my Ghost Adventures. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.